This is Getting On With Life, Biblical Wisdom for Successful Christian Living. And this lesson is Renew Your Attitudes. We can be deeply troubled with wrong attitudes toward things, yet we can feel as if that attitude is the only reasonable response to whatever impacts us. So if we feel slighted or aroused in some way, we tend to accept whatever default attitude comes up. Yet we see in many situations that an attitude is not mandatory. Children growing in the same home don't end up with the same attitudes to the weaknesses in their parents. People in the same job can have vastly different attitudes to their work. Attitudes, then, are personally cultivated and selected, and are not as set in concrete as we think they are. We are thus able to change our attitudes and renew them. However, many people don't even realize they have attitudes or attitude issues. At the very beginning of the human family, we see that attitudes can be controlled and renewed. Cain held a nasty attitude toward his brother Abel, and God called Cain to not give in to the wrong attitude festering inside him. Genesis 4:4-7 records, "The Lord respected Abel and his offering, but not Cain and his offering. Cain was very angry, and his countenance fell. So the Lord asked Cain, 'Why are you angry? Why has your countenance fallen? If you do well, won't you be accepted? If you do not do well, sin is at the door. It desires to have you, but you should rule over it.'" Cain formed an attitude when God did not accept his offering. Instead of thinking, "I'll try again with a different offering," he took offense. He scowled, pouted, and looked dejected. But there was no need for such a troubled reaction. God showed, through Abel's offering, that a blood sacrifice was what pleased him. That was a learning moment for the teachable. It was a guide to those wanting to please God. It revealed truth that would resonate through history until Christ, God's sacrificial lamb. Sin ended up capturing Cain's heart, and he became a murderer, taking himself deeper into pain and shame. How silly! He had God's guidance to help him, but he rejected that in order to indulge his own selfish feelings and do what he thought would make him happy. That's a pattern we see around us all the time. People reject God's wisdom and do things they think will make them happy, but which only dive them into greater failure, pain, and shame. Sin enslaves multitudes who thought they could play with it to their advantage. So attitude can be terribly destructive. But we can adjust our attitude. You probably need to make several attitude adjustments right now. So let me prompt you, for your good, to take note of the attitudes that rule your life. Here are some practical examples. If you are running a business, you can resent any and all expenditures, squeezing better prices out of suppliers and stingy with what you have. Or you can accept that paying out money is simply a cost of doing business. Some businesses have increased what they pay out in order to greatly increase what comes in. Paying money is not a curse, it's just part of the process, and if done wisely, it's a powerful tool. What about your attitude to your work? For years I carried a negative notion of work as a four-letter word. I was taught that if I was truly smart, other people would work for me. Every time I had to do physical work, it seemed irksome to me. Years later, I discovered work is a joy and full of wonderful reward. I once needed help from a mobile mechanic. I was stuck on the side of the road and glad to see him. I was sure the problem was simple, but it was outside my skill set. I said apologetically, "I guess you get sick of people with silly problems." He replied, "I love my job. Every time I turn up to someone on the side of the road, they are delighted to see me. I don't care if their need is big or small, I get to be the one who gets them going again." I thought, what a wonderful attitude. And I found that kind of positive mindset in all kinds of places over the years. When people accept their role and do what they are called on to do with skill and efficiency, they can really enjoy their job. I recall a family telling about their maid. They were in a foreign country and had a maid, but the wife insisted the family not burden the maid unduly. However, one son left things lying around, saying, "The maid will tidy it up." Years later they met the maid again and discovered she felt greatly honored by the son who respected her role and left things for her to do. By doing the maid's work for her, the family were effectively discounting and rejecting her. I love to find people whose attitude to their job is, "I'm here to serve. How may I help you?" That's such a difference to the surly, unpleasant attitude you can meet at times from those who have a bad attitude to their work and those they are to assist. Think about it. You pay more tax when you are making more money. You have more mess to clean up when there are more things happening. You get growth pains because you are growing. Sure, your kids make a mess and are noisy, but some people can't have kids. Your husband or wife may be difficult at times, but there are those who have no spouse. Your job is challenging or taxing at times, but there are those with no job. Your attitude to life and all its little pieces is in your control. If you want to, you can resent every bit of it, or you can choose to love every little part. You can be excited or bored, positive or numb, as you choose. One way to renew your attitudes is to focus on pleasing God. God wants you to live by His guidance. Living by faith pleases Him. He commands you to love others. We can make our life an act of worship by choosing to do and to enjoy doing things God wants of us. Lord, I'm heading off to work again at the job where they don't really respect me and I don't get properly rewarded for my contribution. May you be glorified by my service today. Think about all those attitudes that erupt within you from time to time. Submit them to God and let Him change you on the inside. And may you and all those around you be blessed as you renew your attitudes. God bless you.